We know Ganesha as the Lord of New Beginnings. But do we really know Ganesha? Or only the version that feels comforting to us? Is there a female Ganesha? Temples say yes, but texts mostly no. And to even begin to understand who she is, first we have to free Ganesha from the image that we have boxed him into. It is said that Ganesha or Vinayaka did not begin as a gentle god at all. In early Shaiva traditions, the Vinayakas were many, not one. They were Rudra's spirit companions, unpredictable forces that disrupted the world to expose its fault lines. Over time, these volatile forces were gathered into a single sovereign form, that is Ganpati, the one who creates obstacles and therefore is the only one who can remove them. This is why he is called Vigneshwara, Lord of Obstacles, not only of the outer world but also of the inner and spiritual order. The textual Ganesha has 32 forms, including some deeply tantric expressions. Take Shakti Ganesha, hibiscus red, with his Shakti on his lap holding a golden bowl. They are described as divinely intoxicated by the surplus of their union. And then there is Ucchista Ganesha. Ucchista means leftovers, the ritually impure remnants of a meal, the things our conditioning says are untouchable. This form sits in full sexual embrace with his consort, confronting us with everything that we deny, exile, or label as impure. Everyone asks Ganesha to remove their obstacles. But Ganesha asks a far harder question. Do you even know what your obstacles are? And are you ready for who you will become when they are actually removed? To invite Ganesha is to invite disruption, because he is the revealer of our true obstacle, our fear of our own fully expressed being. A new beginning always tears down the version of ourselves that we've been hiding behind. If you look at some of the rare Yogini and Shakta Tantra influenced sites in India, you will find the feminine form of Ganesha in the 64 Yogini temples of Hirapur, Odisha and Bhedaghat, Madhya Pradesh, as well as in the temples of Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Texts say that Ganesha is Adhishthana Tattva, the foundational principle from which the outward expansion of Shakti arises. He is the guardian of Muladhara chakra, and all beginnings arise from this same source field. And that is why Ganesha or Ganpati is the first deity to be worshipped before any other deity. But Muladhara is Shakti's domain, the power to hold, sustain, and gestate embodied existence. In early Shakta Tantric and Yogini system, Shakti was embodied, multiple, autonomous, and dangerous if uncontained. So thresholds of emergence had to be guarded by Shakti herself. This is why feminine, Ganeshani or Vinayaki forms appear in the Yogini mandals, like the 64 Yogini temples, where she's not a variant of Ganesha, but as Ganesha function expressed in a Shakti-led ontological framework, where consciousness must be expressed as an embodied capacity and not as a directional order. Let's look at some of her symbols. The elephant head symbolizes pre-egoic, pre-verbal intelligence, the massive somatic and ancestral memory of survival. Throughout Indian scriptures, there's a deep fascination with head and with headlessness, because this head symbolizes our egoic center, the part of us that wants to control. But Ganeshani, carrying an elephant head, tells us that inner work is not always cognitive. The patterns at the root formed before we knew language, before cognition. They were more instinctual. And they respond to a different kind of intelligence that provides felt presence, safety, repetition through time, and not to urgency or force. The downward-facing trunk symbolizes the intelligence of descent. In much spiritual imagery, growth is imagined as going up, away from density and limitations. But the path of Shakti asks us to stay with the full human condition, with all its fragility and unfinishedness. The trunk is also an organ of touch and contact, which symbolizes that changes at the root level, at the foundation, happen when we stay in relationship with sensation, with experience, to reorganize it from within rather than override it from above. The curve of the trunk is also essential, which symbolizes that the path of transformation is not linear. We don't need to abandon our old life and move to a new spiritual one. We can always circle back and meet with the old triggers, with the old material, with slightly more awareness each time. What looks like repetition could be integration still in motion. The feminine torso represents foundational safety, the capacity to receive and contain experience without really collapsing. We all begin there, knowing first through the body and not the mind that the world is safe enough to be inhabited. Any real new beginning cannot emerge without this internal safety which will be felt in your body. She's seated in Lalitasana, characterized by one leg tucked inward like a half lotus and the other one extended downward. This stance reveals her effortless power. She's established in herself. Art historians note that this elephant-headed goddess archetype did not even begin as an aspect of Ganesha. She has animistic, primal roots emerging from ancient mother goddesses and nature-based traditions, just like the pre-Vedic Yakshis and other theriomorphic figures that emerged from the rhythms of land, body, and life itself. A damaged terracotta plaque from Raigarh, Rajasthan, dated to around 1st century BCE, is widely considered to be the earliest representation of the elephant-headed goddess. Scholars suggest that she may represent an early form of Maitrika, mother goddess, and note that there is no attending male deity around her, no attributes linking her to a son of Shiva. Later in the Matsya Purana, there is a female elephant-headed goddess who is listed among the 200 Shaktis of Shiva. And some scholars read this as the Aryanization of local goddesses, where powerful local deities were brought under the Sanskritic fold by turning them into abstract Shaktis of a male god. So temples like the Chaucer Yogini temples preserved her more honestly than the Purans. And even traditions outside Brahmanical frameworks like Jainism and Buddhism had an independent female deity who is elephant-headed as a Yakshi or a guarding spirit. Her absence from the texts reveals how easily the feminine archetypes and her wisdom and her intelligence is suppressed or pushed out when spirituality becomes patriarchal. But the psyche still carries her and definitely needs her, because when we do real inner work, all our polished ideas about transcendence collapse and we are pulled back to the body, to Muladhara, and that is her domain. Thank you for joining me in this exploration. If this video nourished you in any way, please give it a like and share it with your friends and family members. You can support my work by becoming a member on YouTube, and definitely subscribe to my channel if you're new here. And I'll see you in the next video.